Welcome to today's edition of 10 TV Plus. I'm your host, Meteorologist Dylan Robichaud, and we are one day away from the official start of winter. And with winter, typically you get snow. We have not seen a lot of it so far this winter. Take a look at this. We are running a bit of a deficit here by a couple of inches. This is what we received. This is where we should be for this time of the year. So just kind of do the math. We're about 2 inches below normal. This has been a trend, though. Okay, I want to take a few minutes with you and kind of go back in time looking at some of these snowfall trends, because this is actually pretty astounding if you go back over the last 30 years. So if we compare the average yearly snowfall now compared to 30 years ago, Cleveland has seen a 42% increase in snow. So they used to get around like 40, 41, 42 inches a year. Now they get around 60 inches per year. Columbus is seeing less snow. Cincinnati is also seeing less snow as well. Let's take a few minutes to walk you through why we're seeing the changes. First, we're going to talk about why Columbus is seeing less snow, and then we'll talk about why Cleveland is seeing more snow. So here in the city of Columbus, there's actually a couple of reasons. For one thing, the climate's warmer. That's not an opinion, that is a fact, and we're going to have stats to back that up in a minute. There's also less ice on the Great Lakes, and you're probably wondering, how does that impact our snowfall? Well, I'll tell you that in just a minute as well. We're going to start off talking about a warmer climate here. This is specifically for Columbus from now back through 1970. So we have about 50 years of data. The temperature in Columbus is about 5.6 degrees warmer. Okay, so obviously with warmer temperatures, systems that would produce snow are now producing rain. As we talk about the seasons, though, most of our warming is actually happening in winter. And in fact, there's quite a bias here. Much of our warmer climate is happening in winter opposed to spring, summer, and fall. Take a look at this. The line here showing the blue, that is winter right there. And we're seeing more warmer temperatures in winter than we are in the other seasons. It's not just us, though. As we look across the entire continent, as we head east of the Mississippi River, the blue dots on the map shows that the winters are warmer. As we head off to the west, the orange dots show that the fall is warmer. And then you'll see that the yellow dots show where summer is warmer. And then as we talk about snowfall here, so out of every single station that we surveyed, 64%, that's about 2/3 of our station, are reporting less snowfall now than we used to get. On the contrary, 36% of stations are showing more snowfall out there. So now let's move on and go a little bit deeper into this, okay? The city of Columbus here, obviously, you and I both know you need what to get snow? You need temperatures under 32 degrees. Well, on a given winter basis, we are now seeing 21 fewer nights per winter where temperatures are dipping down below freezing, okay? So now this is an issue. With a warmer climate, we're seeing less ice on Lake Erie. This is a look at Lake Erie going back over the last 50 years or so. And look at this, okay? Back in 1973, on average, they would get about 95 days per winter where the lake is covered with ice. Now, that number has dropped down to around 60. So we're seeing fewer days where there's lake ice. And in fact, we're seeing 35 fewer days where there is ice on Lake Erie. As we take this a step further, less ice on Lake Erie means that with less ice cover, there's actually more lake effect snow. Why is that? With ice, you don't get evaporation. So you strip away the ice, you get more evaporation, you get more lake effect snow in Cleveland. This explains why Cleveland is seeing more snowfall. On the contrary, if there's more ice, Columbus gets more snow. Why is that? These cold air masses that move in from Canada end up making it down to Columbus. If the lake isn't frozen over, if there's not enough ice on the lakes actually tend to warm up and modify that air mass. So it makes sense, okay? This is causal data that we're looking at here that really hints at why our winters are becoming less snowy. Now, as we look at your 10 weather impact forecast, we will get a little bit of rain and snow out there today. Be careful out there on the roadways. And as we take a live look, downtown Columbus, we have that low cloud ceiling today. We will have some rain and snowfall out there. The temperatures don't get much warmer than what we are seeing right now. So just keep that in the back of your mind. A lot of folks think it's going to warm up this afternoon. It's not, because we're going to see some colder air moving into the region. This is what the map looked like over the last few hours. Right now, as we head towards 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, still tracking some light rain and snow out there. And eventually this will come to an end. I'm thinking around sunset tonight, okay? Give or take an hour. I wouldn't be surprised if this lasted maybe an hour after sunset. But you know what? Just makes it all that much more festive out there as we get closer to the winter season. Here's a look at your snowfall forecast. I'm not banking on any of this actually accumulating, and the reason why: road temperatures, soil temperatures are well above freezing. As we look at the high forecast for today, I'm thinking Zanesville, Coshocton, Newark, Mount Vernon, pretty much everyone reaching the middle end of the 30s. But you head northwest of town, here's that cold air intrusion. Kenton, Marysville, London, Washington Courthouse dropping down to the lower 30s. So it does get quite a bit colder for folks that live out there. We're going to cut off this warm conveyor belt of air, and then we're going to be looking at some cold air pouring into the region as we head into the next fewer days. So this is really going to make some changes heading into Saturday and Sunday. The coldest night, Saturday night heading into Sunday morning. And then again, Sunday night going into Monday morning could be equally as cold, depending on exactly where you live. Now, as we look at some of these nighttime lows, tonight we get down to around 23. Okay, that's manageable. It's going to be that 17 that we see tomorrow night. And why is that such a nuisance? Well, folks are heading off to the shoe. Did you hear? We got a football game going on in town tomorrow night, and it is about to be cold, cold, cold for folks heading out to that game. By Sunday night, we drop down to 19, so that's a little bit warmer. And then I'm thinking by Monday and Tuesday, we finally rebound back up to the lower to middle end of the 30s. Our average nighttime low, by the way, is around 27 degrees. So we're going to be below that for the next 3 nights. And then finally, I'm thinking by Monday and Tuesday, we start to kind of warm things up above freezing as we head into the next few days. So a whole bunch of things happening over the next couple of days. Eventually, long term, though, we start to kind of warm things up. It is going to be downright chilly here on your Saturday. But if you're looking for the sunshine, if you're on the hunt for that sunny weather, Sunday's the day. By the way, today's December 20th. Did you know we've only had one clear day in the month of December? So if you got that seasonal affective disorder, this could be the reason, okay? But we're going to have our second sunny day on Sunday, so that should be nice. The trade-off, of course, is that it's going to be bone-chilling cold out there. Morning low, 17. By the afternoon, we finally rebound to about 28 degrees. Let's talk about that Buckeye game forecast. If you're tailgating, not bad. I mean, 30 degrees. Look, this is not our first cold football game that we've had this year. By halftime, we're at 25 degrees, and by the end of the game, we're sitting at around 22 degrees. Now, the temperature will be around 25 at halftime. The wind chill probably around 17, 18 degrees. So that's why you got to bundle up if you're heading out there, because it's going to be cold, cold, cold heading into the next couple of days. By the way, tomorrow morning, bright and early at 4:21 in the morning, we officially have the winter solstice. So that will be when the sun is pointed at the southern hemisphere, the Tropic of Capricorn. And that means that as early as Sunday, we start gaining daylight. That's right. Tomorrow is our shortest day of the year. We have the lowest solar angle. And then by Sunday, we start tackling on a few seconds of daylight. Take a look at our sunset times. So as we head through tonight, the sun goes down at roughly 5:10. But then as early as next week, a week out, by December 27th, that is what, Friday night, we're looking at 5:14. So we actually gain a few minutes of daylight. And then as we head towards the next 3 weeks, by January the 10th, now your sun goes down at 5:26 p.m. So it's going to get later and later here over the next few weeks. The coldest weather, though, typically holds off until January. So even though the days are getting longer, well, the temperatures do get colder heading into the month of January, with the middle part of the month typically being the coldest time of the year. However, as we look ahead, the second half of next week going into 2025, that's crazy if you think about it. Look at this. We actually have a high degree of confidence that all areas east of the Mississippi will be looking at temperatures 10 to maybe 20 degrees above normal for this time of the year. So if you're hoping that we can enter 2025 with snow, keep dreaming, because I'm not seeing it anytime soon, at least not over the next 2 weeks. take a look at some of this model data that we have for rainfall here. Next 8 to 14 days, above average rainfall. We're looking at a very highly confident forecast too. The later half of next week, you're going to see lots of clouds and better shower chances added to the forecast as well. Now, as we look at the temperature trend for the next 10 days, this will go out through all of next week, okay? And so this line right here is the normal temperature. This yellow line is my forecast, okay? Here's Christmas Eve, we're slightly above average. Christmas Day, we're slightly above average. Take a look at next weekend. So this would take you into the last few days of December. December 28th, December 29th, this is next weekend. We're going to be looking at temperatures about 18 degrees above normal for this time of the year. And so if you're hoping that things are going to be cold heading into next weekend, it's not. It's going to be very warm, which also means that things are going to be pretty good if you have to get out there and travel. 7-day forecast shows that Saturday and Sunday are not looking too bad. Heading into Monday, we're going to be looking at some showers late. And then heading into Christmas Eve morning, we do have a chance of some rain out there. This is a very quick moving system. This is going to be Tuesday morning at 3 o'clock. And you notice that the initial onset, we have enough cold air, might get a few snowflakes. And then eventually as that warm air takes over, this is going to be a wet event, not a snow event. So it's going to be all rain heading into Tuesday. If you have to travel by 9 o'clock on Christmas Eve morning, that's out of here. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, by and large, I'm just not really concerned about the weather forecast. Heading into Wednesday and Thursday, temperatures are going to be warming on up from 43. And then a week out from now, we are knocking on the door of 48 degrees. So things are going to be warming up for quite some time. That is it for this edition of 10 TV Plus. Jerry Martz will have your forecast tonight at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock on 10 TV News.